who are more independent like to go and vote in both primaries. I like to go and vote in the Democratic primary and then turn around and go and vote in the Republican primary. What it does is we're going to have a lot of rhino candidates because we're going to have an influx of Democrats voting in our Republican primary. And we're going to have rhinos more so than any, and if there are rhinos here, then I apologize for that. But we're going to have an influx of rhinos in an open primary, and we really need to. I mean, Texas is what is called a semi-open primary.
Time is called. Thank you, Carl. Speaking for.
Speaking for, I mean, I don't disagree with anything he's really put out there. I just think that when you have so many candidates, in county-wide particularly, have a lot of candidates that run on the Democrat ticket. They're the only ones running. And if you really would like to vote for one or the other, if you vote in our primary, which I like to vote in, I'm here and I'm not a rhino, but it kind of limits your ability to be able to vote for particularly your local candidates who just choose to run in that, and that's particularly county-wide. That's the point to bring that up, at least get it up for discussion. And if it goes, it goes, and does it.
Thank you, Clay. Is there anyone to speak for or against?
Against.
Well, hold on here. Against.
My first vote was in Oklahoma when it was a one-party state, Democrat. And I moved to Texas after college, Fort Worth, Texas, Tarrant County, a one-party county. Both of those are now Republican. Oklahoma is a Republican state. Tarrant County is a Republican county. Then we retired and moved to Mount Pleasant, a one-party county. But we're making progress. We're making progress here without an open primary, and we won in Oklahoma and in Tarrant County without an open primary. I'm not opposed to the idea of the open primary so much as I am opposed to the way it will be abused.
Is there someone to speak for?
I was an alternate election judge for Precinct 7. We had 55 votes in the Republican. This is a Republican precinct now. And they had 128 votes in the primary. At least 75 of those votes came and apologized to us because of the one person they wanted to vote for. At least 75. They were Republicans. Republicans should have a right to vote for these individual at home. And if you got rhinos out there, they're probably going to be paid rhinos because people don't get out and go to primaries unless there's somebody they're voting for. And it would be very simple to put a D or an R out beside the names. And if you put a D and R out beside the names in the primaries, their voting card's got to be stamped. If there's a runoff, they can't go do that.
Bud? All right, no, wait a minute. Are you speaking for or against?
Yes.
Against. Is there someone to speak
I'll
for?
speak for it.
She just spoke for.
I thought she spoke for
Yeah, she's supposed
She
to
spoke for, but the next two, there needs to be a for and against. You're speaking against? Go ahead.
I'm against.
Okay. You're speaking for.
Respectfully, Louisiana did have an open primary. And then Republicans took over and started to kiss the Democrats' butt. So the Democrats go crying, we want to change again. So we got to change again, that's fine. Now, rhinos, if they want to vote Democrat, let them vote Democrat. Personally, I have never voted for a Democrat. I will never vote for a Democrat. Democrats are not my friends. I mean, I'll get along with them. If they are not my friends, I wouldn't count on them. If you think you have any Democratic friends, turn on the TV on C-SPAN and see what's going on.
Thank you, Mr. Spence.
I
really failed.
Although I do agree with Bud, I do believe that this is a true republic, and by putting limitations on voters, you are limiting the rights of the people.
Amen.
So that's all I'll say on that.
Okay, the discussion has to end. The rules require that 3 people speak on each side and the vote is taken. So are you all clear on the On the motion, all those in favor of
Open primary. Okay.
open primaries, thank you, Glenna, open primaries in Texas, raise your hand by saying aye. All those opposed to open primaries, no?
No.
I think the noes have it.
There was a rhino right there.
Somebody has to speak for it.
The adoption of the resolution fails. Next, Mike.
Well, I guess it's appropriate that we take up the next resolution, which is stated Texas closed political primaries. Whereas the members of this Texas Republican Assembly Convention believe the Republican nomination of the 2008 candidate for president has been influenced far too much by essentially external independent and liberal forces. And whereas members of this Texas Republican Assembly Convention believe the Republican Party of Texas's primary voting system has nominated too many candidates who are not conservative and do not follow the party's major principles. And whereas the members of this Texas Republican Assembly Convention believe that the strength of the Republican Party resides in its conservative base, therefore, be it resolved that we ask the leaders of the Republican Party of Texas and the Texas legislature alter the primary voting procedures and party affiliation rules such that Texas will implement closed political primaries in all future primary elections. Closed primaries are defined as elections where the voting population is limited to registered members of the political party or entity conducting that election. I so move.
The resolution has been moved to close primaries. Is there discussion?
Madam President.
I need for and against.
Question.
Chairman.
And you're, Carl, you were going to speak.
I just have a question.
Oh, question, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
is this where we declare our party preference when we go to register or what?
I
No,
believe that's the intention of the resolution.
That's it, yes.
can I answer that question?
Are you speaking for or against?
For.
Okay?
But I was going to say, in answering that question,
Well, no,
What-
you don't get a lot of time here. You get a minute, so stand up and
I'll
speak.
stand up.
I still have,
Under the closed, I'm in favor of the of a closed
Primary.
primary. What it would do is that when you go to register to vote, you will register 30 days, or you will register as a Republican, or you will register as a Democrat, and in 30 days before the election. And so when you go to register, you're going to have to make that decision. And I believe that's the best way of doing it. We had an incident at our precinct where someone came in, they wanted to vote in the Republican primary. That she asked, where do I vote? The Democrat said, oh, over here. And whoever was at our table at the Republican side didn't say anything, so she walked over to the Democratic side, signed up, and noticed that she was at the Democrat. No, I want to vote the Republican. And they said, well, no, you can't. You've already signed up as a Democrat. You can't vote in the Republican. And so she didn't get a chance to vote. And under a closed system, that would never happen.
Okay, time. Is someone speaking against?
The system of registering ahead of time party affiliation is used widely up north, and I much prefer the Texas system where you only register when you go to vote by voting in the primary of a particular party.